Well, is this the end of online cruise check-in? Plus, another brand new cruise ship says, well, we're changing our schedule. It's not the date that you thought was going to be the first cruise. And we have a cruise passenger, suing a cruise line because they feel like the cruise line didn't warn them about how nature works. Yep. Cruise news and my views. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Vida Loca. I am your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news and views for your face. On March the 6th, 2024, a Wednesday, a hump day, an exciting day for me. I'm getting to check off one of my artist bucket lists. Gonna go see the legend tonight, Bob Dylan. He's touring an album that I'm super unfamiliar with. I've been listening to that thing on repeat, so I recognize some of the songs, but I'm just gonna be happy to be in the room with somebody that's laid down so much art over the years. Bobby D tonight in Clearwater. Very excited about that. Let's peel back the covers. There's some interesting cruise news stories for you today. Cruise news story number one feels a little bit like a minor story, but it could be a significant story. We have a major cruise line saying that, look, for a certain cruise port in 2024, you're no longer going to be able to check into your cruises for cruises out of that cruise port using a web page. You're not going to be able to go online and check into those cruises. The only way that you can do it is by using the app on your I have my phone here. By using the app on your mobile device, you'll be able to check in there, but no longer through a website. And, you know, they're saying that one of the good reasons to do that is once you check into the app on your phone, then your boarding pass will be right there. It's going to be a streamlined convenience thing. We're talking about the port of Vancouver for Royal Caribbean International. This change will be impacting 4 cruise ships in 2024: Brilliance of the Seas, Radiance of the Seas, Quantum of the Seas, and Ovation of the Seas. And that's only going from Vancouver. These will be Alaskan cruises for the most part. Now, if you're somebody who doesn't want to use the app to check into the cruise, you can still do the full check-in process at the terminal. It'll take longer for you to get on the cruise ship, obviously, but people that are taking advantage of the cruise check-in before you get to the terminal, that opens up 45 days before your cruise. There's an app for that, the Internet of Things. It becomes more pervasive as time goes on. We see it in almost every aspect of life. What do you think as somebody out there who's cruising? Do you like the fact that you're being required to use the app? Do you not like that? Do you think it's going to be better? Leave a comment below. Okay, can we take a second to talk about something just a little bit sensitive? I'm losing my hair, and I'm not the only person in the world losing my hair. Over 3 million men annually diagnosed with male pattern baldness. Unfortunately, there are solutions for it, FDA-approved solutions, but sometimes getting access to those solutions can be possibly embarrassing and a little bit expensive. Normally, you have to go out in public and you got to pay a premium. Well, fortunately, there's a solution to that. I want to tell you about Keeps. Keeps is an online subscription service that delivers the FDA-approved treatments for male pattern baldness. You can obtain them, get access to them, and have them delivered right there to your house. Keeps has both of the FDA-approved treatments, and they even have a 2-in-1 gel product that combines both of those treatments into one offering. And excitingly, clinical studies have shown that the treatments provided by Keeps are 90% effective at preventing hair loss and can increase hair growth by 35%. Now, most Keeps customers report seeing results within 6 months of starting treatment, and they've helped a lot of dudes. Nearly 1 million men have kept their hair because of Keeps. They've got over 4,500 5-star reviews, including impressive before and after pictures. Look, hair loss, it stops with Keeps. If you'd like to get a special offer, go to www.keeps.com/La Vida Loca or click the link in the description. Big thanks to Keeps for sponsoring today's episode. Cruise news story number 2. Wow, it has been an interesting time when we're talking about new ships and inaugural sailings and whether those things are good and whether they are bad. And well, we just covered a story last week that Royal Caribbean canceled the first 2 sailings of the Star of the Seas, next year's big Icon class cruise ship. They already looked down the tunnel of the project and said, we're not going to be ready. So chuck, we canceled the first 2 sailings. Certainly disappointing to people that are on those first 2 sailings. Well, yesterday afternoon, they come out with a big announcement saying, we got Utopia of the Seas coming out in July. And well, we're early. We're ready to go earlier than expected. And so they've added a 3-day sailing as the new first sailing before the 4-day sailing that would have been the first sailing. And now they're trying to make it cool with the people that, booked. There are people out there that want to be the very first people on the cruise ship, regardless of whether the cruise ship's super duper ready to go or not ready to go. I want to be the first person on the cruise ship. You got people out there like that. And so now some of those people yesterday got an email saying, look, we know that you want to be the first person on the cruise ship, but we're adding a cruise in front of it, and you can still be the first person on the cruise ship. We'll move you over. Now you're on a 4-day. We're going to move you to a 3-day. We're going to prorate you. We're going to leave you in the same cabin. Bingo, bango. If you can change your plans, you're still welcome to be the first people on the cruise ship, but you got to let us know. You got to let us know by March the 12th. So if you were somebody that is booked on the 4-day July 22nd sailing of Utopia of the Seas, and somehow you didn't get the word, there is now a 3-day July the 19th sailing of the Utopia of the Seas, and you are welcome to be on it. What a quandary. Do you think people should be upset about this? Certainly people are upset when inaugural cruises are canceled, but this is like the second instance I've seen of an inaugural cruise becoming not an inaugural cruise because they put one in front of it. What do you think? Would you be upset if you were on the 22nd and then they now opened up this earlier sailing? Do you think that it's, good enough compensation? Do you think this is enough notice a couple months out? What is it? It's March. So you got April, May, June, July. You got like 90 days, 3 months. Is that enough? What do you think? Leave a comment below. Cruise news story number 3. It's a great story for gamblers who like the gambling, but they don't like the smoky aspect of that gambling life. MSC Cruises has started to transition some of its smoking casinos into non-smoking casinos. Now, I was on the MSC Seashore. The big casino was non-smoking, but they had a little smoking box, kind of like what NCL does. But now we're hearing that there's a couple other MSC cruise ships that had a smoking casino that are now making it non-smoking and providing another place for smoking gamblers to gamble. Words coming from the MSC Euribia and the MSC Virtuosa that they've turned their main casinos into non-smoking starting last month in February. It seems like there's definitely a trend right now to separate smoking and non-smoking casinos. Some cruise lines are taking the big casino and making it non-smoking and having a smaller casino for smokers. But some other cruise lines, some ships have the big casino as smoking, and then there's a smaller non-smoking casino. I just experienced that on the Vista. I don't know what the solution is, but a couple things are definitely true. Gambling is a huge profit center for cruise lines, and so they want to keep gamblers happy. Another thing that's true is traditionally smoking and gambling and drinking and all the vices tend to go together, and so there's often a lot of smoking in casinos. So how do you strike that balance? But at the same time, we live in an essentially more and more non-smoking world. So how do you balance all of that? How do you give the smoking gamblers what they want, the non-smoking gamblers what they want, while continuing to make that gambling money? We're seeing it play out. We're seeing it play out in cruising. Is this good news for you? Is this bad news for you? What do you think the right solution is? There's going to be people just ban all smoking. That's not reasonable. That's not representative. And then there's other people that are like, smoking should have as much space as non-smokers, but that's not reasonable either because there's a lot more non-smokers than smokers. So I don't know how you strike that balance. I don't know what I would be doing if I was the leaders over there, but if you could wave a wand, what would you do? Leave a comment below. Now, I got to tell you about this lawsuit that Carnival Cruise Line just got hit with. It's pretty interesting. But before I do that, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Thank you in advance. All right, let me share this clip with you for a little bit of context, and maybe this clip is actually skewing the way I think about it, but this is some classic Chris Rock here.
Man, 6 feet of Roy, the tiger bit the man in the head, and everybody's mad at the tiger. Talk about the tiger went crazy. That tiger ain't go crazy. That tiger went tiger.
That's a classic bit. Tiger didn't go crazy. Tiger went tiger. In a lawsuit filed in February against Carnival Corporation, there is a passenger who was on the Carnival Mardi Gras who did a port stop at Grand Turk. And while at Grand Turk, he stopped to pose with a donkey that was in the port area, got his photo made with the donkey, and during that exchange, the donkey kicked him in the shin and jacked his leg up, had to get surgery. Now, after the incident, the gentleman is suing Carnival, claiming negligence. In the complaint, it said they failed to maintain and operate the cruise terminal properly and failed to install warning signs about the animals and the potential risk of harm. Potential risk of harm from the animals. So essentially the guy is saying that it's Carnival's fault that he got kicked by a donkey because nobody told him that if he got close enough to a donkey that he could get kicked by a donkey. Yeah. I don't know. Look, I had a similar experience. I didn't get injured, but I went to one of these drive-through safaris, and they had really big signs out there saying, hey, animals are animals. And I guess, you know, it didn't even click. I saw the big sign that said animals are animals, and it didn't even click to me. But along the way, a camel locked down on my arm while I was feeding it. And I thought it was funny for about 2 seconds till I realized I could not get my arm out of the camel's mouth. I have a video of that. I'll leave that linked at the end of my time in the safari. It got locked down, and it reminded me quick that animals are animals. And so I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. Of course, there's language in the contracts that we sign that say, you know, we're responsible for our own personal safety. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see how the lawyers work this out, whether Carnival's actually negligent or whether, you know, their disclaimer in their contract, who knows how that's going to go. But I lay it out here just to remind people that, you know, the tiger didn't go crazy. The tiger went tiger. And how much warning do you think Carnival should give people when it comes to donkeys and other animals in port? Boom, that is your cruise news. Thanks so much for checking out the episode today. Please hit that like button on your way out. Check out the camel video. Thank you, Keeps, for sponsoring the episode. This is Tony for La Lido Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye. Cruise.